Right now, plastic surgery, it's more popular than ever before. Facelifts, Botox, liposuction, boob jobs. Well, all of these procedures, they have been normalized over the past few years as more of us are becoming obsessed with augmenting our appearances, to suit our desires. I saw Bandman Kevo getting some lipo, and I thought, I might look into that for myself.
I never asked for this.
But the ones that I just mentioned, those are pretty for the norm. Someone out there by the name of Mary Magdalene decided to take it to the next level. Now, if you don't know Mary, she's an OnlyFans model, and before you even ask, no, there's no relation between her and the biblical figure. You're just gonna have to trust me on that one.
I'm sorry for the misunderstanding, but we cool, right?
We ain't cool.
Now, this version of Mary Magdalene is far more concerned about transforming her body than she is her immortal soul. In fact, in the past 5 years, she's had well over a dozen surgical procedures in the hopes of becoming the world's most lifelike blow-up doll. Now, we've already posted a video over on TikTok, and a lot of you had a lot to say, so don't hold back in the comments. Tell us what you really think down below. For everyone else, well, let's stay tuned to our latest episode of Before They Were Famous on the one and only Mary Magdalene. Okay, I guess the second one with the name, but the one everyone's talking about, for real. Mary Magdalene is a 26-year-old woman who was born in Toronto, Canada, likely around the year 1996. Now, as someone who says that she's been an introvert for most of her life, well, Mary has kept most of the details about her childhood to herself. But over the years, she has let a few nuggets slip. For instance, now Mary claims to have grown up in an extremely religious family where her dad, he was an English pastor, and it was under the confines of this stifling atmosphere that Mary decided to rebel by turning to sex and drugs at a very early age. In fact, she claims that by the time she was 12 years old, well, she was already living her wildest life. Not only enjoying the perks of some cocaine, she was also showing up at school drunk. Did I mention that this was during the grades of 7 and 8? I thought not. Yeah, wild kid. Now, at the age of 18, while married, she became enticed with the idea of plastic surgery. Now, that's also apparently how old she was when she first started her career as an exotic dancer in good old Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Now, she'd show up for work and she'd see all the other women chock full of implants, only to be blown away by how incredibly sexy she found them to be. Now, that's when her obsession with what she calls the overfilled look, well, it began to set in. When asked to define what beauty means to her, well, Mary, she would tell Days Digital, "Beauty can't really be defined because it's truly so subjective. Someone you think is hideous is the next person, woman, man of their dreams. When people have the guts to be themselves by presenting how they want to present, that to me radiates beauty. I always find beauty in the strange." Now, soon enough, Mary had become a full-time stripper and she was also working as an escort. Now, 3 years later, she'd begin her plastic surgery journey, but before we detail that part of her life more specifically, yeah, we got all the details, well, I thought we'd finish off tracing her journey to social media stardom. Now, the first social media platform that Mary ever joined was Twitter, where she created an account for herself in June of 2018. She wouldn't post her first tweet until a few months later in April of 2019, a not safe for work image that teased material more appropriate for like an OnlyFans account. Well, 5 months later, Mary, she would fulfill that promise with the creation of her OnlyFans page in September of 2019. And I think it was around this time that me and my wife found her. Not on OnlyFans, we found her on the gram. And once we found her, we couldn't stop staring. That's right, by 2020, she had created an Instagram account under the handle of XOMaryM. Now, she'd later change that username and delete all of her original posts. Well, either that or the page, it was simply shut down by the folks in upper management. Because honestly, it's probably the latter. These women out there, they're getting shut down left, right, and center. Even me, I lost my verified account. Now, in 2012, Mary, she would create a new Instagram profile for herself, this one under the name of Leave XOMaryM Alone. Around the same time, she'd also create a TikTok page, which would get deleted pretty quickly, but that wouldn't stop her from creating yet another one under the handle of King Mary Magdalene shortly thereafter. Now, so far, this one is hanging around, but that might only be because she doesn't use it all that often. Now, she also has a YouTube channel, which she created in August of 2019, but it's got under 10,000 followers and very little content. Now, regardless, her presence on social media, it appears to be steadily growing, just perhaps not at a breakneck pace. Now, if I'm being totally honest, Mary is probably best known for the tabloid headlines she's able to drum up online, which is through different media outlets, and almost all of them, well, they involve her experiences with plastic surgery. So let's dig into the meat of her story right now. And I'm sorry, that was probably a poor choice of words. Now, over the past 4 to 5 years, Mary, she's had well over a dozen surgeries on her body, getting her first operation done at the age of 21. Now, for those of you who are wondering, yeah, it was a boob job, and it wasn't the one she's got now. Now, over the years since, she's had 2 brow lifts, cat eye surgery, 3 nose jobs, cheek and lip fat transfers, 2 sets of 20 dental veneers, numerous lip fillers, 4 boob jobs, and a triple hitter, a Brazilian butt lift, all to achieve her desired look. Because the girl wants to resemble a real-life blow doll. Even me, when I think of a blow doll, I don't think of one as exaggerated as her. Still. Now, not only do her breasts weigh 22 pounds, but when asked to comment on the works she's had done to her face, Mary described it as an open mouth that never closes. In fact, she's now made it so that her top lip, it touches the tip of her nose at all times. Something that she then coupled with a brow lift to give her that look of constant surprise. But all these operations, they pale in comparison to the one that almost killed her. That's a procedure that she had done to her most intimate of areas in hopes of having what she calls the fattest JJ in the world. For real. My God. If we had to blurb that, I'm sorry, but you gotta know what I'm saying. Now in 2020, Mary, she traveled to Mexico where doctors, they transferred fat from other parts of her body and then injected it into her genitalia. As you might imagine, complications they arose. Now for starters, she lost so much blood. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. Now for starters, she lost so much blood during the surgery that the medical professionals on hand, they had to give her a blood transfusion. Now the problem was, Mary was apparently allergic to the blood and she almost died on the table. Now after narrowly surviving that close call, Mary, she had to deal with the after effects of the procedure in which one side of her lady bits, they kept growing and growing. Now this resulted in a whole bunch of pain, and Mary, she eventually had to have yet another surgery to correct this. Now you might think that all that would put her off the idea of future operations, but you'd be entirely wrong. Now not only is she happy with how everything has turned out, she can't wait to go back under the knife once again. That's probably because all this procedure, all this work, it's actually resulted in some positive side effects. Not only does Mary say that she now feels more confident when naked, but she also uses her extra large body parts to create works of art. And I'm talking about paintings. Not just balancing stuff, she also uses them to do stuff, for real. As for how her appearance affects others, Mary claims that most of the time it's very positive of an experience, with the average male citizen even getting into car accidents just for the opportunity, to speak with her when she's walking down the street. Now, of course, not everyone reacts this way, which is something that Mary, she's had to learn the hard way. Mary Magdalene had herself her own Elephant Man moment during a recent experience with American Airlines.
I am not an animal! I am a human being!
At Mexico's Cancun International Airport at the end of May of 2022, the social media star posted multiple selfies while waiting on her flight. But shortly after boarding the jet, Mary reported she was booted off the plane with yet another post to Instagram, this one which read, "I got kicked off the flight for how I look. Please stop discrimination. Please, this is disgusting and I feel so embarrassed and dehumanized right now. You guys have no idea." Now for those of you paying attention, we actually had to autocorrect all of the original posts because there was a lot of spelling mistakes that made her look like an animal, like who had no thumbs. Because she couldn't write. It's not that mean. Anyway, let's move on. Now, according to Mary's side of events, she was asleep in her chair on the plane, minding her own business, when a flight attendant woke her up and asked her to leave for not paying close enough attention to the emergency instructions before takeoff. However, other sources would tell TMZ that Mary was apparently intoxicated beforehand and she was moving around from seat to seat. Now, Mary has since promised to sue American Airlines for discrimination against her based off her appearance, claiming that if she was a small-chested woman and wearing the exact same outfit, none of this would ever have happened. What do you guys think of all this? Is Mary Magdalene a victim here? Should American Airlines simply, have left her alone? Or do you believe there were other sources that claimed, she was intoxicated and that's the real reason they kicked her off the plane? I'd probably say they were like, them boobs are taking up 2 seats. You gotta go, or at least buy another ticket. I don't know, but I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below. I can't believe what you guys had to say on TikTok. I can't believe that video is gonna get 1 million views. And yeah, once upon a time, like 2 years ago, me and Mary were gonna do an interview, but I think that's when the whole JJ thing happened, and then she was a little busy. And then she was in LA going a little cray-cray. Anyway, another Toronto influencer taking over the world in their own way, and we love to see it. Let us know who you guys want to feature next in the comments down below. My name is Michael McCrudden. I'll see you guys in another video.